This is the AI News Flash for May 22nd, 7 p.m. UTC. First up, President Trump abruptly delayed signing a major executive order establishing a 90-day testing and vetting regime for frontier AI models just hours before the planned White House signing announcement, marking a critical turning point in U.S. AI governance policy direction. The delayed executive order would have established a voluntary testing framework between the federal government and major AI companies, with a 90-day government evaluation period before public release of new frontier AI models, and access for cybersecurity testers in critical infrastructure sectors, including finance and healthcare. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind, Meta, and xAI were the primary intended targets, representing the first major federal regulatory framework for the U.S. AI industry. Trump cited concerns that he disliked certain aspects of the order and worried it could harm U.S. AI competitiveness against Chinese rivals. The Washington Post reports last-minute lobbying from Silicon Valley tech industry officials proved decisive in shaping the policy outcome, highlighting tension between the December AI Action Plan executive order framework and the 38 state-level independent AI regulations, creating a federal versus state regulatory power conflict. AI industry super PACs have already invested over $125 million in lobbying for the 2026 midterm elections. This represents a fundamental shift in U.S. AI regulatory environment, prioritizing voluntary self-regulation and competitive positioning against China over comprehensive safety frameworks. In contrast to the EU AI Act and state-level regulations in California and Colorado, federal unified regulation faces significant rollback, marking a decisive moment in 2026 U.S. AI policy and shaping the global AI governance framework. Next up, the U.S. Department of Defense formally requested a record-breaking $29.5 billion for AI supercomputing infrastructure modernization in its fiscal year 2027 budget, according to exclusive Defense Scoop reporting. The AI Arsenal initiative now sits at the core of U.S. national defense strategy, marking a decisive phase in military AI implementation. The total Pentagon budget request reaches $1.45 trillion, including $1.1 trillion in discretionary spending and $350 billion in mandatory reconciliation funds, currently awaiting congressional approval. The strategic shift moves from scattered GPU clusters to centralized SCIF-accredited hardened data centers across multiple sites. The initiative procures state-of-the-art GPUs and AI supercomputers for 4 primary applications: battle management, threat detection, supply chain optimization, and federal AI deployment, aligned with the White House AI Action Plan, emphasizing open-source models and reduced regulatory barriers.
Palantir, Anduril, Shield AI, NVIDIA, and Broadcom are positioned as primary partner candidates, with Microsoft, Oracle, and AWS competing fiercely for federal AI cloud contracts. This parallels Anthropic and OpenAI's classified network contracts in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Google Gemini classified system deployment continues amid the Anthropic supply chain risk designation conflict, fundamentally reshaping the defense AI market landscape.
National security AI implementation has moved into full-scale deployment phase, while hyperscalers commit $725 billion in 2026 capital expenditures for commercial AI infrastructure. The federal government accelerates independent AI infrastructure construction. This is a decisive signal in the U.S.-China AI military hegemony competition, with NSA, DOD, CIA, and FBI intelligence agencies moving toward full-scale AI model deployment. The 2027 fiscal year marks the largest U.S. government AI implementation investment milestone, with national security positioned as a top priority issue for the 2026 midterm elections. Now major U.S. insurance broker Acrisure announced 2,250 layoffs, representing 11% of its 19,000-employee workforce, citing AI as the primary driver. This marks a symbolic case in the insurance industry's AI implementation wave and the latest example of AI-driven layoffs sweeping major sectors. Headquartered in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with $2.8 billion in annual property and casualty revenue. Ranking third on Insurance Journal's Top 100 Independent Agencies list, Acrisure began phased layoffs on May 21, 2026, extending through end of 2027. This follows a 400-person accounting layoff in October 2025, also AI-driven, bringing total reductions to over 15% of workforce. Reagan consulting analyst Kevin Stipe noted Acrisure's organic growth rate at only 1 to 2%, with private equity debt structure forcing urgent margin improvement. CEO Greg Williams cited fundamental business operational transformation driven by AI, technology, and digital platforms. This joins HSBC's 20,000 cuts, Morgan Stanley 2,500, Commerzbank 3,000, Block 4,000, Salesforce 4,000, Cloudflare 700, and Wells Fargo 12,000 in the wave of AI-driven layoffs, with cumulative figures exceeding 158,000. Tech industry AI transformation is now extending structural white-collar employment collapse into the insurance sector. Goldman Sachs' prediction of 300 million global jobs impacted by AI automation is materializing, with Dallas Federal Reserve data showing 13% reduction in AI-related employment for 22 to 25-year-olds, while experienced workers see wage increases creating structural K-shaped polarization. With cumulative AI-related layoffs exceeding 158,000 amid the $725 billion AI capital expenditure boom. This symbolic case highlights the insurance industry's accelerating AI implementation. Underwriting, claims processing, customer service, and AI agent replacement phases are advancing. Goldman Sachs predicts 44% automation risk in the insurance industry materializing. Background context includes U.S. Medicare CMS AI fraud detection achieving 15 criminal indictments and $350 million recovery since September 2025. Oracle, Epic, Palantir, and Verily medical AI market, reaching projected $25 billion by 2030. AI employment policy continues as a top priority issue for the 2026 midterm elections. Now this. California Governor Gavin Newsom formally signed Executive Order N9626, a comprehensive AI labor market regulation framework, marking a decisive milestone in U.S. state-level progressive AI employment regulation and a critical signal shaping nationwide AI employment policy direction. Executive Order N9626 directs the Labor and Workforce Development Agency, GoBiz, and Department of Finance to jointly submit a comprehensive AI labor market impact report within 90 days, followed by policy recommendations within 180 days. The order mandates workplace AI impact studies, job training program updates, layoff tracking, and worker protection framework reviews, including potential revisions to the 2002 California WARN Act for AI-driven employment terminations. Possible changes include WARN notice requirements, severance rules, collective bargaining triggers, and mass layoff notification definitions. Paul Hastings' attorney Elena Baca clarified no immediate action is required of employers, providing clarity on urgent compliance obligations. This aligns with state-level progressive AI regulation accumulating in California, New York, and Colorado, within the federal versus state AI regulatory power conflict, with state-level proactive regulation continuing as a symbolic case. Democratic governors prioritizing AI worker protection clarifies the next-generation Democratic policy direction, elevating AI employment policy as the top issue for 2026 midterm elections. Amid the structural wave of over 158,000 AI-related layoffs, and AI labor market restructuring, state-level employment protection frameworks now enter full-scale construction phase. Democratic foundations of worker rights protection in the AI era reach a critical milestone. Along with the EU AI Act, U.S. 38 state AI regulations, and California's progressive regulation, this forms a decisive moment in global AI employment governance framework formation. Amid hyperscalers' $725 billion 2026 capital expenditure and AI employment structural transformation, state-level worker protection frameworks position themselves as a crucial counterweight, marking a 2026 critical turning point in U.S. AI employment policy. That's all for this AI News Flash.